Hey guys, I'm out here on my back porch on the first nice day in a while to kind of take a assessment of what I've got and what I might work on next, and to rearrange things a bit because with this Admiral and the Zenith portholes that I just got, I'm really blocking up access to everything, so some stuff has got to get moved. Summer's coming, so the window air conditioner units will go in the windows, which will free up some space here. This pile should be going hopefully sooner than later. It's just an empty Philco 38.4 cabinet I've been trying to give away, and some old scopes and some burned out tubes and so on. I'm hoping to give all this stuff away or sell it for a few bucks to some local guys. I'll see how that goes. Hiding underneath this blanket is the cabinet for the hopefully soon to be done Philco 60 project. Once that's done, I think I'll bring this inside so I can actually use it. Right next to that is the slightly earlier Philco 70. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. The reason I got it was an antique shop that was selling off a lot of stuff, and I picked up this my Philco 38 7 share side and the Spartan 400 I just finished restoring. So I got it more just because I recognized what it was and that it's a fairly desirable radio, but I've yet to do anything with it. One thing I do know though is that the cabinet's been refinished and I do not like the look of it at all. So if I do decide to restore, I think it's going to be a pretty involved project. But for the time being, I'll just leave it out here. Piled up on top of it are more of those rider service manuals. They got a whole bunch more inside, and they're also blocking up a lot of room. But I think I might have found a place to put them, which is in what I'm calling my server room right now, which is a decent sized closet that's really not being made very good use of. All that's in there right now is a Dell SC440 server and a printer and a UPS and some routers and such, but I think I could move all that stuff to other areas. I can pile up all these books and these boxes that are full of tubes and so on, which should free up a lot of space. Likewise, all these boxes here are mainly filled with tubes and some test equipment that I'm not currently using. But it's a little more interesting on this side because this is where my TVs are stashed. This is the most trash set I've got. This is, or was I should say, an Admiral 20X122. I did a video on this a while ago. This is the one where the insides were gutted and it was used as just a display piece of furniture. And there are caster wheels put on it. I found a somewhat similar chassis that fit in there, but it does stick out the back a little, and I'm missing some of the knobs and the channel plate here, and there's a crack on the bottom of the cabinet and so on, so I think I'll save that for some time in the distant future. More picture tubes and such stashed back in the corner, and those sets I've already determined a while ago I'm probably not going to be doing anytime soon. That's why I put them really back where they're inaccessible. So, to make a long story short, what I think my next project will be, after I clear out a few partially finished projects, is this, which is the the Motorola 12K2 I picked up in Cincinnati, Ohio, I think a couple of years ago now. I've briefly mentioned this in a few other videos. When I first got it, it's actually never been inside because when I got it I noticed there were insect holes all throughout the cabinet here. So I wanted to put it I kept it quarantined for a while, but I never saw any sign of them coming back, so I'm not too worried about that. It's also in pretty miserable condition overall. So why would I want to work on this and not the nice Zenith porthole or some of my other sets? Well, with the weather warming up, it's time to do some cabinet refinishing. And I ordered up a bunch of new products that I have not used before, but did a lot of reading about, and they were all highly recommended. One of them is a wood filler, which I'm hoping I can use to fill in these insects holes. And I also got a new brand of grain filler and some various other tools, some different sanding products and lacquer products to rub out the finish and so on. So I want to try out all that stuff on a cabinet that I'm not too concerned about, so I don't screw up one of the more valuable cabinets. Plus, I'm kind of interested about this set because, like I said, it's been out here all this time. I have never taken a look inside. I've never pulled the chassis or anything. However, I have looked up the schematic, and it's a fairly simple TV, so I think it'll go pretty quick. I know I have all the parts for it already. And then there's one other cabinet I want to refinish. I'll show you that inside. This is the other cabinet I want to restore, along with that Motorola. I'll probably do them at the same time. This is the Admiral 3812S, I think it is. It's the first set they came out with in sometime in '47, according to the documents I've seen online. The reason I want to do this one as well is that this was horribly refinished. Somebody, looks like named Tom, decided to carve their initials crudely into this front piece. Hopefully I can sand that out. But it's got some damage, and I've already stripped the top, and I want to get a new finish put on this. I don't like leaving the wood exposed like this. The reason I stripped this is I wanted to see if it was strippable. Gives it a sure look like somebody put polyurethane on it, and I've heard that's a nightmare to get off. Well, I used some citrus strip on the top, and it actually came off fairly easily, so I'm not quite sure what it is. I still think it's polyurethane. But maybe I just got lucky and this citrus strip really worked well, because I've read online other guys have had a very, very difficult time stripping polyurethane off of cabinets. The other really bad thing about this is when it was stripped and refinished, they did a really bad job. This is the original color. It's supposed to be sort of a medium dark walnut. They just stripped it to the bare wood and clear coated it, which is just totally wrong for this set. So I think it'll be interesting. So along with those new products I ordered for the other set, which were mahogany, like mahogany grain filler, I also got some walnut grain filler, which I want to use on this set. Once I've determined that my new best techniques, favorite techniques using these products, I will finally, I promise, get to refinishing the Westinghouse WR8 column air cabinet that I periodically get questions about. You may have noticed the Admiral T102 orange white cabinet there in the background. Yeah, it's just about done. I want to do a little more wet sanding and give it one final clear coat. I'll do a dedicated video just on that project. That leaves me with 3 major refinishing projects left. One is the GE802, which is overall in decent shape. It's mainly the top that's bad. There's whole sections of the veneer top that are gone. I do have a nice piece that I've already cut to size. It's the same stuff I used on the GE810 and Philco 491040 projects. So I'm hoping I can carefully remove the remains of this, put on a new piece, and well, we'll see. Maybe I can get away with just refinishing the top and maybe this piece around here and just touch up the rest, which sure does have some scratches here and there, but those can be filled in and then coated over. I'd really not have to strip this whole thing down because it is quite a large cabinet. Second, got the Philco 38.7 chairside. I've kind of gone back and forth on this as to whether or not it needs to be refinished. It's certainly in decent condition overall. This could be maybe lightly sanded and then just put a clear coat over that to fill in some of the dings here and there. Top's probably the worst area, but again, that maybe could just be sanded down and then clear coated without stripping it. And then of course there's the big hole down here where somebody put in a phonograph. My plan is to rip off this veneer, patch in the hole with a piece of wood, and then I have some book matched veneer that I can cover this over with. So the question is, can I do that and refinish that and leave this original finish on the areas around it unharmed? I hope so, because that's my plan. Again, after having done a few cabinets where I totally stripped them down to bare wood and then built them back up, sure, they look good in the end, but that is a lot of work. So my goal with these projects is to do as little as possible, but still make it look pretty good. And finally, here's the Philco 15DX, which is the rarest item in my collection, so I really want to take my time and do this right. I did finish the top, other than rubbing out the lacquer. If you recall, this was in really, really bad shape, and the front strip of veneer was gone entirely. I stripped it down, I put in a veneer patch, I filled in the grain, I used toner lacquer and then clear coated it, and now it just needs to be rubbed out. I think it turned out quite well. Which leaves the rest of the cabinet, most of which is in fairly decent condition. Like this area in here is really nice and smooth. Where it's especially bad is this left tambour door, where there's a chunk of veneer gone, and other areas are really separating and flaking badly. And then the entire base got wet. So there's a bit of trim missing. A lot of this figured walnut veneer is gone. So the other piece is loose too, so I need to replicate this piece for this side. And I will take off all of this veneer, and I've got some new burled walnut veneer to put in its place. But this will all be probably the last project I work on, because like I say, this is a quite rare radio, so I want to take my time with it and practice on all the other sets. So that's the plan for my refinishing projects this spring and summer. Of course, I'll still be working on plenty of other things, but I've gotten questions about some of these sets, and I thought I'd give you guys an update. That's all for now.